Hello, everyone. This is Lianam with Daybreak Media. It's your resident news hobo, and I have a special guest with me tonight. Would they kindly introduce themselves?
Hey, my name is EverythingLogic. That's my name in Minecraft. I was a part of the BlueCross in season 2.5.
So you're on Island One then?
Yeah, I was on Island 1.
All right, that's interesting. So, let's see here. Was that your original plan going into the event to be part of Blue Cross, or did you just sort of uh,
Um, it was actually my original plan. In season 2.5, I had a group of people that I already established connections with, so I
hmm.
decided that going into season 2.5, I already had a group of people that I'd be with, so I just thought that'd be easier to just join them
Wait, you
than
mean?
to
Sorry, I think misspoke. You were in season two. You were with the people.
No, season two, I made friends with blue people in Blue Cross,
All right,
and then season 2.5, it was a repeat, so we played as Blue Cross again because we weren't on the I don't know what it's called, but the repeat rule or something. Like some
right,
groups
right,
were not allowed to repeat, but we weren't on it, so like we
right, right.
decided to
Yeah.
repeat,
So,
and I joined Blue Cross. Yeah.
all right, fascinating. So, and in season two, did you just stumble upon them and just sort of so why, how did you get involved with Blue Cross to begin with?
For season two, I was actually gonna join because my friend was gonna play and he told me I should play with him, but then he got denied. So
Hmm.
then and I got accepted. So I kind of went into season two like blind.
Right, right.
So I didn't really have like a friend that was there because I know him in real life.
All right, I see.
So I would have been able to play with him and I know someone, but now I didn't know anyone. But there's like a group of people in spawn that are all like in a circle and I kind of just walked in and they kind of just let me in and I started working with Blue Cross. I was also a bit involved with Pandaris, but it was like kind of like 50-50. So I was like kind of involved with both groups, but I wasn't like choosing one over the other.
Right, I understand. Yeah.
So
All
and
right.
then Pandaris like obviously disbanded. I think it's like West Helm now, but um because of that, I just joined Blue Cross because I actually started talking with some of the people outside of just state, and I talked to
Right,
them, and then I decided season 2.5, I would join them. So
right. So, did you do? So you said you went to blind in season two. Did you do any preparations or anything for this season?
um, I didn't really do any preparations because there's people that I already knew.
Right, right.
So I would have been comfortable with just being in the same group of the people that I already knew instead of having to find a new group of people to establish more connections with. So I was already more in my comfort zone already,
Right.
entering season 2.5. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I understand. The friend you wanted to enter season two with, were they in season 2.5 at all, or?
they were not. I think I tried to get them to apply, but school, it's been really busy, especially
Uh,
with me. I've been able to keep up though, but it seemed like he wasn't able to, so he couldn't play.
right,
So
right.
I kind of went in with, yeah.
All right, I understand. Uh, what was your role in Blue Cross? Like, what did you do?
I worked as a couple roles. I was originally one of the, let me check, hold on, give me a minute.
Of course.
I just need to see in the Discord because I don't really remember. So I was part of the leadership. Uh, so it was like maybe second highest role, I'd say.
Oh, wow.
There's a group of people that not controlled, but like led specific groups. I was a part of the Blue Cross security, as well as the mining supervisor. Those were my two roles,
Oh, so
basically.
were you there at the big summit that was held on, I believe it was day nine, or was it?
Yeah, I actually was there. Yeah,
Sorry, no, it
I
would have been
think it
day
was
eight.
like what was it? It was like Stonehenge, something like
Yeah,
that.
sorry,
It
it
was like
was
a
day
build. Yeah, it
eight.
was
Yeah.
that. hmm
Okay.
So I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I might have actually seen you then because I was there as well. So,
Okay.
all right. So what did like other people in Blue Cross do? So you said you had the mine group and the defense group. Like, what other
Yeah.
kind of groups were there?
So there was a lot of groups. There's different leaders in the leadership group were what is it? like it's like a sort of a department, I guess, like a leadership. Let me check. So there's like architecture, which is like just the builds,
Right.
resource supervisor. I was the mining supervisor. There's farming, there's build resource supervisor, there's coordination, which is like more um talking with other groups and trying to make allies and stuff. And there's also just like secretary and it was like just more, yeah.
All right.
But those were like some of the groups.
All right. So what was your? You said you make connections with other nations. What kind of what was your impressions you got sort of like during the event, and how did they change over time? Like what nations were any nations like you sort of like, oh, these guys are cool, but then like that sort of soured over time, or like the opposite of like people you didn't expect to like, you ended up liking? Like,
I
what?
wasn't really I was more of like kind of inside of the group. I mainly stayed inside of Blue Cross. I didn't really reach outside or anything, but there are some people that I've seen when we hosted meetings. They come into our area, talked with them a little bit. I don't know any groups in specific, really, honestly. Um, but there's a couple of groups that I didn't really like. Maybe because they're a bit hostile, just
Hmm.
in roleplay. Like they kind of just, or maybe they weren't even in roleplay, and they just kind of just, they were really toxic,
Sure, sure.
or they just kind of, you know, blew the balloon too big. And I guess in a metaphorical way, they just kept on like saying, talking like they're above everyone in a way. It was kind of annoying.
Okay. So you say you weren't very aware of like other nations, most other nations. Like, okay, just out of curiosity, off the top of your head, what nations can you name off the top of your head? I'm just
All
curious.
right. Wait, I'm closing my eyes. I'm not even looking at my screen.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Daybreak Media counts as a nation or if it's just an organization.
Oh,
It's more of like a news thing.
yeah, we're
I
a
don't
news
know.
thing,
Blue Cross,
obviously. Yeah.
West Helm,
Yep.
Al Karazina,
Yep.
um, let me think. Valley of Wheat.
Hmm.
I feel like Elysium.
Right.
Um, oh my God, wait. There's like groups from Island 2. There's like that, what, Mattel, I think.
Right. That's yeah.
That's like six. I'm not even near. There was like 20 on like Island 1 and like
Oh
20 on
yeah. It
Island
was
2.
I
There
we
was way too many. I can't even remember.
I
It's like you.
I was
I
part
don't
of the
know.
news. I was part of the news, and my specific job was to know this stuff, and I didn't know half of them. So
Yeah, I didn't
don't,
know.
don't.
It's
Yeah.
difficult because there's so many groups and everyone's trying to be different from one another. But when nobody's different from one another, the only thing to me that stands out is like the name, or like
Right.
if I
Right.
actually had an interaction with them. If I never had an interaction with them, I can't remember. There's no core memory. It's just like a name to
Oh
me.
yeah,
You
I
know what I mean?
understand. Yeah, it's definitely.
So
Was there
so
any individuals that stand out in that case then? Like, any of
um
who do you think are if in your whole storyline, would you say are the big characters other than yourself?
um in the big line, I'd say I don't want to give like attention to the wrong
All
people.
right. Hold on, let's make a quick note sign. Sorry, I realized I have set questions written down, but then as I'm talking to you, I realized I should probably add some more to that list.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like the
That's fine.
naming off the top of your head, I think that's a good one to ask people
That
because
is a good one. Yeah. Cause like genuine, it's like I don't know. It's like asking people to name all the as many states in the United States, and like there's 50, and you think you can name like 20 of them at least, but like it's actually hard for some reason.
yeah, yeah,
Well, for me it is. Yeah. That's a very unique question though, because it's like
yeah.
it
So,
really gets people to think.
was there any other like individuals that do you know who Linguini was?
Oh, Lingulini, that's my man. Shout out to Lingulini. I
Okay.
can't lie.
Yeah, he's pretty memorable. And also,
Yeah,
oh, did you ever
definitely very memorable.
Director Seven? Did you ever meet him?
Ooh, I remember. Yeah, I actually seen him in game a bit, but I don't really know anything about him, I guess personally. Like I just know like his name. Like I know his like I've heard his name. I've
Hmm.
spoke of his name, but like I don't know him. Like I've seen him walking around and stuff in
Right.
game.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a very we he somehow got involved with Daybreak Media. I have no idea how it happened. He just sort of showed up one day on a
Oh,
he was on our talk show for some I don't know how that happened, but
Okay.
It's yeah, there was he got involved with us somehow. I don't know how it happened. But he just sort of like I'm glad
Oh,
he
I
did
see.
though, because he's a fun guy. Uh, so did you so I remember like during early in the event there was a whole like definitely rivalry going on between like some people were trying to stoke this rivalry between the two islands. Did you know anything about that or like what was your impression between like Island One versus Island Two?
Wait, can you repeat that question? Sorry.
Sorry. What was your what was your impression between like the whole Island One versus Island Two thing?
I
Because
think it was like at first you think it's interesting because um like before there's like four islands and like four biomes, right? There's
yeah,
no like advantage or disadvantage. Maybe a few, which was just the environment, but there wasn't really like a whole. For some reason, season two, in my opinion, was better. Like it was just biomes. There's nothing really a like cry over or anything. It was just
yeah.
biomes. But after that, people are like taking poor and rich super seriously, and I feel like I just saw like a lot of political like I wouldn't say turmoil, but a lot of political chaos. Like people are actually turning it and trying to like put a Marxist like view on it, and it was kind of annoying because like it's pretty fucking Minecraft, but people take it really seriously and kind of sucks. I took it a little seriously, to be a little guilt. I'm like a little guilty of it.
Oh no, it's fine.
Um,
It was all good fun.
well, I know. I'm just like you can include this by the way. I'm just
Good.
like admitting to it, sort
Yeah,
of,
good.
because like I feel like it's more authentic for the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was a little guilty of it because like there's kind of chanting like, oh yeah, like we're gonna rise up against the rich, and it was fun for a bit, but then once it's taken out of game, like taken from like in game to like in person, people start getting really serious over it.
Right.
I
That's
think the actual sorry,
no, no. Go on, go on.
I think the actual idea of like rich versus poor is pretty good, but I think the execution was really bad for this like season 2.5.
So
It's
like,
not that good.
what would you change then? Like, if you're like going to do rich versus poor again, what would you change?
Honestly, I don't really think it's like I don't think it's really Ish's fault. In my opinion, I don't think I can run a server or run an event better than he can. I think it was just the way that more people were applying, and the people that were accepted, I feel like they weren't really great. Like I didn't expect there was only 15% of people being accepted. And I was surprised when I got in because I thought genuinely it would be random, but there's a lot of people that I knew that didn't get accepted. And it was a little weird because it feels like they got the most toxic people they accepted every single person that has like some sort of toxic personality to join. And it was really chaotic.
Hmm.
I don't know how. To me it was like that though. It was really I think it was the community rather than Ish or the idea of rich versus poor.
So you think it's just like if we were to do like if just even if we were to do the same map again with just a different group of people, you think it would potentially go better?
I think so, yeah. Like I think there's a lot of people that got the most competitive. They got either the most competitive, the most toxic, the most political, um the most I don't know. You could put me in that group too, because
I
in
mean,
my opinion, I'm a little guilty of it too.
no, it does make sense because like the application process was who put the most effort into the
Yeah, it
so
was
like
just
obviously the people who
who's most suitable to who's ready to fight or something. They're trying to find people that are just ready to take on like a I don't know,
yeah I
interesting
guess
scenario.
in a sense everyone who got in had to be a zealot in some sort of sense.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like because one of them, I'm not gonna name names, but someone I know, they were like a really nice person in my opinion,
Hmm.
and they didn't get accepted, and they were wondering what was wrong with their application, or maybe they weren't the right person. But I know them as a person; they're really nice. Um, and I don't know why they didn't get accepted. Maybe because they weren't look they the application team was not looking for those type of people.
Right.
But yeah,
So okay, so that was that's an interesting perspective to hear because So like you thought, so I got, so you said like everyone's pretty toxic. Like, can you be a bit more specific on that? Of just like everyone's just chomping at the bit to go to war, or was it like just sort of think people were taking it outside the game?
I'd say a mix of it actually. I'd say a lot of people, and you know who you are, um, were really taking everything super seriously outside of the game. I took it a little. I was a little upset when I died. That's like kind of just in the heat of it. But
Hmm.
after I realized like nobody really cares. It's Minecraft.
Right.
And then, but also, what were you saying? It was something, yeah, like a lot of people are ready to fight. I feel like there's more people that are like interested in fighting than building a community. I was pretty focused on both. Like I'd be down to do both. I wanted to, because season two, a lot of people are building communities. That's what I saw. See,
Hmm.
like there was like one big fight, but everyone was mainly in a community. Like BlueCross was a community. Um, Other groups, I don't know them, like names of the groups, but there was a lot of communities and less fighting. And most of the fighting was just RDMing. But I feel like now everyone's just waiting for the war to happen because then it's really difficult to differentiate between like RDMing and
So you're
killing. I'd say.
so what I'm getting from this is that it's I guess makes like seasons one, two, and this one all ended the World War, and that's sort of
They all
and that's sort of like everyone's just when's the war is gonna happen. It's just sort of like the public perception of what's going on. Is that and you think that's sort of
I
like
I
influencing people's actions?
I feel like it's super generic. It's really generic because like season two, yeah, like there's way more community building,
Hmm.
but in season 2.5, there's more preparing for war on the first day. Like it's literally the first day. There's no war yet, but people are already preparing for it because they expect it. It's really generic. That's I think what you could change about maybe Ish's like way of preparing events. Just the war thing is getting bland. Like you gotta do something new to innovate. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that was actually one of my questions is if you weren't going to do a war at the end, what would you suggest instead? Because at the end of the day, Ish wants to make a video out of this event, and he wants to have, a finale, a conclusion. And the war is, it's a pretty simple,
Very simple,
it's
yeah.
very simple, but it is effective. But like,
It is pretty effective. I have to admit it is like, effective, but after seeing video after video, it gets really boring. I need something to grab my attention.
so
In my opinion, I'm thinking just think of let's say the world was ending, right? Like
right.
in the real world, like let's say the world was ending. Is the first thing you're gonna do fight other people, or are you gonna band together and just accept that the world is ending, right? The meteor is gonna strike and kill everyone, kill all 7.8 billion people on Earth.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I get what you're saying, but the problem is at the end of the day, this is as much as we call it a simulation, it is still in Minecraft, and so
that is true.
people will act, people are not going to act. Obviously, I seriously doubt research has shown that human beings generally are not, murder machines, at the end of the day.
Yeah. I
You know,
feel like when there's everyone has the exact same goal, which is survival instead of war, then if everyone's goal was survival, like to survive like an apocalypse, everyone would band together to survive.
so you're saying, well,
But
basically, what you're saying is the volcano should have erupted.
I was expecting that because I thought that would have been really nice. Like I thought that would have been more unique than just oh, there's a war. Because then that's like
I,
he forced us to have the war.
yeah.
Nobody really wanted the war. Ish wanted content. He forced us to the war. He could have if the volcano erupted, then it would have been more interesting.
So,
Because
okay,
yeah,
go on.
I
No,
think
go on.
no, I think that would have been more interesting, the volcano erupting. I
Yeah.
actually just remember that, yeah. Of
So, there's actually okay, a couple things on that. Do you want me to include the bit you said about Ish? Like he should have done that because I do.
course, of
Okay.
course. If he bans me, he's trying to silence me, isn't he?
The optics would be
Uh,
terrible. I do realize. Yeah. So, um, so I sorry. It was funny because I remember I actually didn't make it to the war. I died the day before, but I
mm,
was watching the live stream of the Leader Furnace, and I was joking in chat of it's like this whole conflict seems really one-sided. What if the volcano's gonna erupt and just give the volcano side an army of blazes to help defend themselves? Uh,
That is interesting. That's an interesting concept. I
yeah.
feel like we need more people to give Ish ideas than Ish makes the ideas himself. Because I feel like,
Well, I think that's part of what these interviews are for. I want to,
yeah,
add some new ideas to. And sorry, I did just cut you off. I'm so sorry.
no, no, it's okay. I've been talking a bit, so I'll
No,
let
okay,
you
yeah,
ask.
yes. And well, I think that's okay. There's one thing I actually have left. You said you did you die in the war? Is that how you
I
died?
did, yeah, yeah. I died in day 10. It was like the last day, I think.
And
Before, like,
which side were
it
you
was
on?
like the. Sorry?
Which side were you on?
I was on Island 1.
No, I mean, which side of the war?
Oh, I wasn't on any side. I was just part of BlueCross. Our goal was to just help people in the war, but we didn't really.
Right.
I'll be honest. I feel like some of our group is like, oh no, we did a lot, but I feel like we really did.
Hmm.
Like, if you look on the positive side, yes, but if you look from a more, I want to grow from this side, then in my opinion, I want to grow from it and try and do better. But I don't think we did as much than if, let's say, for example, the volcano erupted, we
Right.
would have been able to provide people shelter because
Right.
we actually, one of the people on our team actually were making bunkers in case the volcano erupted.
Yeah.
But the volcano never erupted, so
Right.
there's like no usage of the bunkers.
Yeah. I feel like part of the reason the volcano didn't erupt would also been the lag issue that would have caused. That's
Maybe, yeah.
like maybe there was plans for it, but they scrapped it. But who knows?
Yeah, maybe they scrapped it, but people just placed lava at the top of the volcano just to mimic eruption.
Yeah.
Um, it worked a little, but it wasn't really. It didn't feel like a grand, like a very big thing happening. It just felt like, oh, it's happening, but it happened over the course of like 50 minutes. So
Hmm.
like nothing really happened. But if it happened within like 5-10 minutes, it'd be like, okay, now everyone's scrambling to see what to do to like find out what's next.
All right. So okay. So I don't have many more questions other than I guess so you mentioned you want to see in future events you want to see less war focus and more civilization building, right? That's sort of your general view on what you want for future events.
Yep.
And I'm assuming we're going back to the four island premise for season three. Are there
Mhm.
any? Do you think they would do the same biomes, or like how would you? Because I do.
Um,
Oh, yes, go on.
I would. Oh, I don't think you finished your question. Keep
I
going.
was
Sorry.
I was also want to bring up because I think the ore spawns were different in different sections of the map. So do you think something like that would be an interesting inclusion to the event, or would it just be all islands are the same except for the set dressing on top of them?
I think that's really interesting, but I feel like it hindered a lot of people's experience because some people are mining in areas and they didn't know that there were gonna be literally nothing there. Some people naturally got better areas to mine in, but it
Right.
didn't really feel like it made sense. Like
Well,
there's like yeah, there's gold
right.
in the volcano, but then like people start hoarding that and it's like now there's like no gold anywhere else. So it's like I feel
Yeah.
like it was sort of unfair for some people. It's
They
kind of like
Yeah, they didn't tell us that was a thing as well. So if they told us that, like, do you think if they told us like beforehand that each biome would have different, you know, favorable, different quantities of ore, but they didn't tell us what they were, do you think that would be an interesting experiment to try for the next season?
I feel like I feel like the whole different ores in different biomes thing is interesting, but I think they didn't tell people because they thought that we would all tell each other, but it ended up being some people that found it first would tell each other, like their friends, and then hoard it, and then it became a thing outside of the game that was like,
Hmm.
oh, now you're hoarding, you're being really greedy, and then it goes from Minecraft to in game or in person, and then now everyone's mad over someone's decision to be a little greedy,
I
and it
understand.
was it was it was a bit unfair in my opinion. I felt like There's definitely a border between like people that had a lot of resource. I wasn't like I didn't have a lot of resource. I wasn't like rich, but I wasn't poor. I didn't have netherite, but I didn't have iron. Like I was in between. I was in like diamond. I was like kind of like everyone else.
Right.
So,
All right. And are you planning on doing the sign up for the next season of the state?
I actually, to be honest, I was thinking not really, but now that I think about it, I might join, but with a different mindset than
Right.
when I joined with season 2 or season 2.5. I might try and find an actual new group that I might actually feel maybe appreciated or more welcome in, or feel like I can do more in it. Like, honestly, I didn't really feel like I did much in Blue Cross. So maybe I'll find like a new group. Maybe like spice things up, you know?
Right. Are you do you think there's gonna be Blue Cross again next season, or is it do you think Blue Cross is done? Is that what you're saying, or
To be honest, I don't know anything about the inside of Blue Cross speaking about like, oh, I don't think like maybe haven't heard anyone really. Maybe I don't remember, but I don't think I've heard people say, "Oh, I don't really think we should do Blue Cross again." Like, I think it kind of got boring. It might not, considering the owners might try and make a new group to try and like, I don't know, they're gonna like make a cult or something.
yeah?
Because that's what they said. But at the same time, I don't know if Blue Cross will keep going.
All right.
Me personally, I think a lot of people are just burnt out from like season 2.5. It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't fun. It wasn't that fun. And also, if my friend joins, I might try and play with him again, or I'll just find another group just to refresh, make it feel fun again.
Right. Well, I hope you and your friend get to play together in the future events.
I hope so too. Yeah.
So I'm actually hoping to try and continue Daybreak Media until the next event as well. So is there any feedback you want to give to us? Right.
Oh, okay. Wait, I want to go back to the other
Oh
question
yes, go
about
ahead.
like will Blue Cross repeat? I forgot to say. To be honest, I don't know if it will because it's technically Ish's decision to put us on the no repeat list.
Right.
Um, so it's possible that we don't repeat again, and we're literally forced not to. So that could just be another possibility. Like we can't do it at all. So that would just be a guaranteed no. But we don't know that because we're not really inside of Ish's like circle
Right.
of
Right.
like production and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
So then the other question was
Like any
something
feedback?
about Daybreak Media.
Yeah. Like what's your any feedback you would like to give to us about how we could improve for future events? So news wise.
Honestly, I really liked what you guys did. You guys did something that a lot of other people couldn't do, or they could do, but not on the scale you guys were able to provide at, and that you have my respect for that. Also, other news companies, listen, they didn't get super involved. They were just doing their job. News reports, that's great. But I feel like there's some other groups that just didn't provide enough, or they didn't have interesting articles. And I feel like what you guys did good was community involvement, allowing me, for example, to be interviewed. And I think that gives people a chance of having like their voice heard. And also, you guys have a lot of people in your team like doing it, so really helps because the production is, it's you have a lot of production and that's good. So my feedback is like, I don't know, go big. Like honestly, just you got this. Like I think go with the flow, see if what works with you guys. I'm honestly, I respect you guys a lot. I respect it.
Okay,
I respect the work you guys put in and everything.
good. Well, that means a lot to me, and this would be a good place to end the interview. But then I just remembered one thing. Uh, how was you said that like the whole thing, the war was like engineer, like Esh, got involved to get the whole war. What was
Mhm.
your understanding of the circumstances that caused it?
Of causing him to force the war to happen, or
Of just like the motivations of each side, I guess. Like
Can you repeat that?
the
I'm
mo
not
do you
understanding.
know like so Ish did pulled some plot lines together
Yep.
is But like, do you know like what was your understanding of what those plot lines were?
I feel like it had nothing to do with in-game. I think it was actually just Ish trying to get content. And I think he was just kind of desperate to get something to happen. So that there's something interesting, and there was like an opportunity for him to get a lot of money from it, monetize it, something interesting. I feel like it was more of like a personal thing that he needed to make money so he could survive, obviously, rather than,
Right,
oh, I think I just want to do this just for fun. I think I understand like everyone needs to make money to survive at the end of the day, but I feel like um I don't know, maybe Ish was struggling to get things to pull together,
right,
and he just needed to step in. I don't blame him for that, but I feel like something could have been done differently.
right, and
But when it comes at the end of the day, everyone needs to make money. Like,
right,
like I understand if it's his job, he's got to do what he's got to do. I don't blame him for that at all.
right,
I
and
would do the same. So
right, and it's okay if we leave that response in, or do you want
yeah,
to?
yeah, of course you
Okay,
can.
and yeah. So did you know nothing but the whole Infernus thing actually? Because like there were some actual beef. There was some actual beef going on.
Oh yeah, I heard about the actual beef. People are telling me, bro, there's beef going on in state right now, and I'm like, really? People are still beefing over this? And they're like, yeah, yeah, there's still shit going on. Like people are still mad at each other over like a month ago. And I'm like, oh my God, like you can't really do anything about it. But I was like,
Yeah,
wow, it's just kind of amazed me how the community, in my opinion, kind of fell apart. Like season 2.5, less applicants, greater people. Or no, season 2 I meant, not season 2.5. Season 2 was like great in my opinion, but season 2.5, everyone's trying to get like the spotlight in my opinion. And
right.
I just think that mindset where everyone wants to be in the spotlight and the spotlight's not big enough to include everyone, it's really difficult. Like it's really difficult. But I understand everyone wants a bit of attention. I want a bit of attention as well. Um but not everyone can be pleased. So I feel like I feel like there's like the whole beef thing, I think it's just kind of unfortunate.
So
I just kind of sat there. I didn't know what it was about. I just knew it happened.
okay, yeah. I I don't think you should don't be too hard on other like I know like you say keep it all in the game, but like I this event it is everything that happens within those 10 days. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Is the way I see it. Like we were working on our stuff, and I feel like that was just as much part of the game as it was
Mhm.
the 2 hours inside the game itself.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
So like,
It's
if they're
definitely not
still
good.
mad about it after, then like that's a different story. Like
That's different.
if they're
Yeah.
complaining about how the role play went and like yeah, I can understand the beef, but like I yeah, you get what I'm saying.
I no, I understand. I when you said beef, I thought you were talking about outside of the game. So naturally, I was like, oh my god, what are people on about now?
Oh
But
yeah, no, it's all.
yeah.
All right. Well, this was a lovely interview. And is there anything else you want to tell me about your story? Like,
Um.
because you said you didn't get we all wanted the spotlight, but I think this is your time for in the spotlight right now.
Oh wow. Wow. Shout out Gurglers, that's my friend. I hope we can play season 3, bro. I really hope. I hope you fucking hear this and I hope we can play, bro. You got like I can help you with your application if you want, bro. Like we haven't played. Like we haven't played and it's been so long. We gotta play, bro. Come on. Shout out to you, bro.
All right.
Like you're the go.
Well, that's a lovely interview. You have a good night or day. I
All
don't know
right,
what time
thank you.
zone it
You have
is.
a good no, it's night for me. It's
All
like
right.
8 p.m. All right.
All right.
You have a good night as
All
well.
right. Goodbye.
All right, see you.